أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم ففهمنا سليمان وكلنا آتينا حكما وعلما رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم سبحانك اللهم وحنانيك اللهم لا تنسني ولا تنسني الحمد لله أفضل الحمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آله وسائر النبيين والصالحين وسلم اللهم وفقني واهدني وسددني واجمع لي بين الصواب والثواب وعذني من الخطأ والهرمان آمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode of questions and answers. In fact, the last episode of the week being Friday, so it is even more so vital that you get the phone ringing and get your calls in. I'm sure you've already worked out that the Maghrib for the Adhan for Maghrib in London has already taken place, which is the reason why we came on air slightly later than normal. So that has already been given. Obviously, our Maghrib in Bradford is due to start soon, and obviously the Maghrib will be as such. And inshallah, when I return next, which is on next Wednesday, I would have prayed Maghrib before I come on air. So we're now seeing that shift up happening, and the slight drop in temperature I noticed as well today. Unfortunately, my son-in-law's grandmother passed away. So the janaza was after Jumu'ah here in Howard Street, Jami Masjid in Howard Street, Bradford 7, if you know it well. So as soon as the Jumu'ah was done, we prayed the janaza, and then there was a short duration before the body was transported across to our local graveyard, local cemetery, and the burial took place just after 5 p.m. And we were there till probably about 6:30, so an hour and a half, and I was literally freezing. You know, my body surface temperature dropped to probably about 5 degrees, 6 degrees Celsius. So it is cold out there now. Probably doesn't help that I didn't have a coat on or anything. Just was there in my jubba and my sort of flip-flop type footwear. So there's a lot of cold air blowing in. So I felt the temperature. So we can see already that the change towards autumn is happening in front of our eyes. We had the summer, we enjoyed the summer, the long days, the hot days. In fact, some people actually complained about the summer. Well, let's see how much they complain now when the temperatures drop and it gets a lot colder. But anyway, that's about what happened today. May Allah bless and forgive the lady who passed away today, and may Allah forgive all those who passed away, because when we were there was already another burial taking place, and when we left there was another burial taking place, and I was told that there was another burial that happened earlier. So there's just in Bradford alone at the cemetery there had been 4 or 5 burials today. So, and as we look across at the cemetery, the last time we'd been, we're sort of like we're burying someone all the way down there, and now the graves are full up and we're burying somebody here. I guess the next time we have to visit the cemetery again, we'll be burying someone further still. So yes, we are passing away, we are dying. That's a fact of life. It's natural, it's going to happen. Key thing is, or the differing thing is what we've prepared for it in the next life. That's the asl, that's the key.
Okay, well, we just were keeping an eye on Westminster Hall Live, where the Queen's body now lies in state, and there is a changing of the guard every 20 minutes. In the last couple of moments, there has been a slight bit of drama. One of the guards did collapse. 4 officers from the House Cavalry, of course,
that's a nasty fall.
Yeah, they guard the Queen's coffin.
A visit to the local school, which I was going to on behalf of the Khair Foundation. I think they'd raised some money for the Pakistan floods, and one Hassan had asked him to attend.
Yeah, it is. We hope he's okay.
The schools, thank the pupils, do a short assembly. Well, that was planned for 2:30 p.m.
Yeah,
unfortunately, as I said, the death
but certainly
of
a huge
the lady just threw everything out of sync. And as a consequence, there was only one option. One was to either bring the assembly time forward to 2 p.m. or have to rearrange. So when I said the phone to school, they said, unfortunately, we cannot move it forward because it's a fixed assembly that we have on Friday, every Friday. And it would impact on the school timetable if we were to move it forward. But it's no problem. How about we reschedule next week? So they reschedule for next week. Anyway, I was going to say, please do call on 01274 214299, but somebody's already done that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Where have you been, young man?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You don't know where you've been, then we've got problems, haven't we?
It's just like recently with the whole news thing.
It was what? Sorry, say again.
Recently with like Queen's death, so like I was trying to keep up to date with that. So.
No problem at all, mashallah. Have you got some questions for young man?
Yes, I've got two.
You always come in pairs, okay? At least you don't. Go on, fire away. What's your first question?
So the first question is, roughly how many prophets are mentioned in the Quran?
Say that again.
Roughly, so like.
What?
You can round it up, or you can give me an estimate. How many prophets?
I don't know whether it's the volume that's coming in my ear, but it's just.
Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So, roughly, how many prophets are mentioned in the Quran?
Roughly. I was trying to work out what your first word was. So, roughly, approximately, how many Anbiya are mentioned in the Quran? Okay, very good. And number two?
Two, can you drink red wine vinegar, white wine vinegar.
Yeah, white wine vinegar. That's it's like that. Was it? She sells seashells on the seashore. Alliteration. So, can you drink white wine vinegar or red wine vinegar? Well, drinking vinegar is probably not a good thing anyway. It's not very tasty, so I would avoid drinking vinegar. Maybe you can put it on your chips, but anyway. So, those are the two questions, young man.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Jazakallah khair for calling in.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So, Jazakallah khair for a young lad from Leicester came in with the questions. I was going to say, next call. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, dear caller.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you doing, sister?
All right, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Just a bit cold, but alhamdulillah, warming up now in this.
I think yesterday you must have been tired. You were stumbling over words.
They always do. They just keep cracking the whip, and we just have to comply. What can we do? But now the lights in the studio warming me up. Alhamdulillah, I'm defrosting, mashallah.
It's getting cold now.
It is.
In front of the gas fire now.
Oh my goodness me! Yeah, that's cold. Yeah, I've not gone as far as turning the heaters on yet, but maybe tonight, inshallah.
Maybe, inshallah. So just a quick question.
Gee.
I was just talking about one of my friend's sons. So he's on the wrong path. He's doing drugs and not going home. Is there anything what we can do to get him back home, like what we can read or?
Brilliant.
These are the days, and he's after his Quran as well, but he's just all he's seeing is about money now.
Jazakallah khair for that question. I'm sure it's not just specific to your circumstances as well. I think many mothers and aunties and family members are also suffering as a consequence of some of the actions that our youngsters will take. Jazakallah khair for that question. Okay, so we have 3 questions, but now I will remind you of the number. The number to call if you do have any further questions is 01274 214299. We have several minutes for the first interval, so you can please do call in. So our first question, what is the approximate number of Anbiya mentioned in the Quran? If I can remember correctly, and I'm really digging deep into the old grey cells, I think there's around 25, if I remember correctly, that have been mentioned in the Quran. It'll be around that kind of number that have been mentioned in the Quran. The second question that we had was white wine vinegar and red wine vinegar. Now, the actual product itself is vinegar. That's what it is. That's why it's called white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar. So then the question arises, why is it called red wine vinegar and white wine vinegar? Why isn't it just called vinegar? Because the source of the vinegar is wine. For those of you who've done a little bit of chemistry at school, organic chemistry, you'll know that wine, or in wine, is an alcohol. Okay, the sugar from the fruit changes into alcohol. Otherwise, drinking berry juice would be haram. Drinking grape juice would be haram. But we can drink grape juice. So we can drink, there's a car driving outside, we can drink normal colored grape, whatever you call it, green grape, white grape, and we can also drink red grape juice. We can obviously eat the grape, we can squeeze the grape and drink it as a drink, but and that's when it's a sugar. But when it goes through a chemical transformation, it ferments and it can become an alcohol. Okay? And when it becomes an alcohol, then we call it wine. Okay, so it goes through the chemical process. When it's a sugar, we can drink it like we can eat grapes, like we can eat dates, like we can drink grape juice, like we can drink date juice if we so chose. But when it ferments, it becomes an alcohol. It becomes wine. Now, wine, unfortunately, or not fortunately, or fortunately, is impermissible. We cannot drink wine. However, it can go through a further step, and the alcohol in the wine changes to a carboxylic acid. Yeah, I know, you were thinking that I would never have to hear chemistry ever again. Acetic acid, for example, when it comes to vinegar. So the wine changes into vinegar. It chemically changes into vinegar. That's how you get wine changing into vinegar. So therefore, they took red wine, they took white wine, which originally was grapes, white grapes and red grapes, and then they carried out a reaction and changed the wine into a carboxylic acid through a chemical reaction, and that became vinegar. So the source is white wine, the source is red wine, but the end product is the vinegar. So therefore, I'm sure you're already following my thinking and you'll know what the answer is. Yes, white wine vinegar is permissible, red wine vinegar is permissible to consume. However, that is for the Hanafis. According to us, we will permit the changing of an illegal substance into a legal substance as a principle. We accept that. So the changing of wine, which is haram, into vinegar, which is halal, we accept that. The other madhahib, the Maliki, the Shafi, they don't accept that. They say that even if it's gone through a chemical process, because its origin is impermissible, it is impermissible. And therefore they will say, no, do not consume it. But as the great majority of you sat at home are Hanafi, then for us it is permissible to consume. The next question, which is probably just going to be enough time to get us through to the break, so please don't call in right now because we only have a couple of minutes left, and this question will get us through the break, and then we can have another call out for numbers. The sister asked a pertinent question. It's a question, unfortunately, which I hear so many times, and it's a situation which is occurring up and down this country, and that is young people turning to illegal means of making money. And I think the sister touched upon that point, which was money. The key thing here is money. We watch TV programs. We see social media influencers on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on whatever, and we see the fancy lifestyle that they're living, the places where they're eating, the clothes that they're wearing, the cars that they're driving. And unfortunately, because of silly mistakes that we made or opportunities that we didn't take up, we don't see a legal means of earning that kind of money. But we want that kind of money. We want to be earning, £4,000 or £5,000 a month. But earning £4,000 or £5,000 a month is for the elite amongst us, those who have a very highly paid job. It's not going to be for somebody who, is for most people, they're earning 20, 25,000 or even less. And if you're earning 20, 25,000, you're just about able to pay your rent, pay your bills, buy clothes, and then, you still got a little bit of money left over, but that, you're not going to be able to live an unreal lifestyle that you're seeing on social media. And that's why you're seeing this big change. You go back 50 years, and the great majority of us worked hard. In fact, go back to our parents and grandparents. If you're my age, go back to your parents, and if you're younger than me, go back to your grandparents. They used to do 12-hour, 14-hour shifts in mills, earning very little. But there was nothing there tempting them to earn more. There was nothing there. Now you see there's so much temptation. So much. Every year a new phone comes out. So, you've got the old phone, and then a new phone comes out, and one of your friends gets a new phone, and you want this new phone, and the phone costs you £1,400, £1,500. But you're doing that every year. Okay, you've got a TV, and a new TV comes out, I remember back in the day when we were kids, there was only black and white TV, and there was only 3 channels. And even then they weren't 24 hours, they were only daytime hours, and it used to be, this huge big box. There's no even remote control, you used to press buttons on it. And if the aerial went funny, that's it, you couldn't watch anything on it. But those times have changed. But I'll come back to how we can potentially resolve it, because just by pitching the background to that story has meant that we're now entering into the last few seconds before we go into the break. So I just wanted to give a premise as to why people are in that situation. What is the cause of this, and why people are using illegal sources now to earn that kind of money, rather than, being patient with what they have. I think from what I've described, you probably already have an idea. But for more details, please stay and watch, and I'll discuss it after the break.